And okay, I have an interesting review, this time for a DSLR camera, or technically it's an SLT, but basically it's Sony's equivalent. The reason it's called SLT is because it doesn't use a mirror that flips down and back up like in a traditional DSLR, but I won't get into all the details of that in this review. It uses a 16.1 megapixel sensor. Here's the body of the camera. It uses a APS cropped CMOS sensor, not full frame, but you won't get a full frame one for this sort of price. It is capable of 1080p video at either MPEG-4 or AVCHD at either 25p or 50p or 50i, or I believe if you're in a American, sort of North American region, somewhere like that, you'll probably get 24p or 60p instead. It can do a burst of 12 frames per second, slightly reduced quality, or at full quality 10 frames per second, which is really good. It also has a 3-inch screen at 921,000 dots per inch. So it's got a high quality screen with true black technology. As I mentioned before, it uses a fixed transparent mirror, so it doesn't keep going up and down. So it probably helps so it won't wear out as quick, I should think. But also it makes it faster for taking pictures, and also helps it to have a fast autofocus system. Its autofocus system is therefore also very fast in movie mode. Although what I should mention is because of the way they do their lenses and the body and stuff like that differently, which I can't really go into all that detail now, when you're recording, because it's so close to the internal microphone, you can hear the lens is autofocusing. However, that won't stop you from using it, because they luckily have a 3.5mm audio jack, so you can plug in an external microphone. So you could perhaps use the Rode VideoMic Pro, or if you don't want to put out extra money, any 3.1mm audio microphone will work. So you're not stuck to using the internal. Here's the body. Before I actually take a look at it and all the ports, I'll just give a couple more quick details. It's also capable of 3D Panorama. It has ISO 100 to 16,000, a 15-point phase detection autofocus. It has an auto enhanced HDR mode. Unlike other cameras such as Canon and Nikon, you don't have to get a special lens with like their version of SteadyShot, because with lenses on, say, Canon, if you get a cheaper lens, it won't have a stabilization. You have to buy a more expensive lens to have a lens that is capable of stabilizing. Well, this has SteadyShot inside, so each lens doesn't need it. It has it in the body of the camera instead, which is really good. It also has an anti-dust system inside, which is good as well. So let's just take a look at it now, shall we? Here, as you can see, there is no lens on, just a lens, a body cap. There we go. It has a metal ring instead of plastic like a cheaper model, like the A58 has a plastic ring. It comes with the cap included. Here's the button for releasing. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a button there for releasing the lens if you got one on. Sony, and you've got the A for Alpha logo and the model 57 there. Down here you have a toggle for autofocus or manual focus. Here you have a dial for using the menus, but you don't have to use that. I'll show you in a minute. On this side here, you have your SD card slot, only one, but you can use up to XC SD cards. Okay, let's have a look on this side. Under this plastic flap on here, you have your 3.5mm. No, sorry, that isn't that. No, that's next to it. Sorry, that one there is actually for a remote release cable. Then you have here the 3.5mm audio jack. Then You have mini, or is it micro? Well, you have the smaller HDMI anyway. Now I think it's, let me see if it says, no, it just says HDMI out. But then you have a USB slot there as well. Then lastly here you have a DC in for power in, which is really good. Normally it's only the really extra expensive cameras that have that. And that's one of the things people like about it. On the bottom you have, of course, your battery compartment and your your tripod mount there. Now let's look at the top. Let's see if you can see that. Here you have your hot shoe, but what I should point out is it uses its own proprietary end. So you'll have to either get an adapter for other things that don't use that, or get one of Sony's own accessories. But you can get adapters, so you're not stuck to using Sony, so don't worry about that. Here you have your dial for like manual, manual, shutter priority, aperture priority, program. It's auto plus or auto. But this mode here is basically, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but basically this mode here with a weird circle and a lightning bolt crossed out is autofocus. It's no flash. If you're in a place that you can't use flash, you can quickly turn it to that and you won't be, it'll force it not to use flash. Then you have scene selection, panoramic 3D, your 12 shot burst mode, and then movie record. Plus you can here click the dedicated movie record button there anyway. You have your viewfinder and your LCD screen here. Now, what else haven't I showed you? Okay, the top I hadn't finished showing you, had I? You have your switch to switch between Finder or LCD. You have zoom in and out button, which if you're shooting in RAW format, it doesn't seem to let you use it, but you can still use it in preview mode to preview. When you're previewing your pictures, you can zoom in and out of your picture there to get a better closer look at areas. You then have your ISO button, your on and off toggle here, which is also your shutter button. Here is your flash, which now I can't seem to use it turned off, whereas on a bridge camera I had once, you could make it shoot up to look inside at any time. And on the back, I've mentioned the viewfinder and the LCD. We also have the menu button to get to your main menus, but you also have function. This is where you get to most of your options when you're going to take a picture, such as ISO, aperture, all that sort of things. Most of it is under the function button. You don't have a row of buttons across here like some cameras do. This panel here is your up, down, left, right, and select in the middle. And also in different modes you can do different things, but normally you use this as your up and down D sort of pad. You have a preview button here to preview your pictures anytime, and a help button, which can also in certain modes act as your trash can for deleting pictures. This here can come out like that. It can turn like this and use it. See if you can see it like that. So if you're like handheld filming yourself, but the trouble is you can't use it on a tripod because it comes out down here, not out to the side like a lot of them. Instead of coming out to the side, it comes out down the bottom. So you can only film yourself handheld. You can't film yourself on a tripod. And well, you can film yourself on a tripod, but you won't be able to see what you're doing. Then you can turn it around like this and have it in like this and still see. I will now turn it on for you. I haven't got a lens on, but you'll be able to see the menus. Okay. It says no card inserted because I'm using my SD card in my camcorder at the moment. Let's have a look at the menu. You have lots of options here. I don't know how well you can see, but you have things like aspect ratio, your quality such as RAW, and JPEG, or just JPEG fine and standard. Under aspect ratio you have 3:2 or 16:9. I'm not sure if you change that to Now you get the same options even if you're using JPEG for that. You also have some panoramic and zoom options here, which are grayed out depending upon what mode you're in. Long exposure noise reduction on or off, flash control, autofocus illuminator auto, your color space. You can select either sRGB or Dolby or RGB. Whoops, I'm trying to view pictures when there's no pictures on here. Go across. You also got shooting tips. Don't know if you can see that very well. Whoops, keep pressing the wrong buttons. Here you can format your card, change your folders it saves to, things like that, but I haven't got a card in. Set your date and time and your area settings. Whoops. Okay. Then you have here such things like LCD brightness, viewfinder brightness, eco mode, power save, HDMI resolution, things like that. You have USB connection, so you've got things like auto and mass storage, cleaning mode, so you can get it to do its dust system. You can look at your version. At the time I'm reviewing this, I think you can see probably just it's version 1.04 of its firmware, which when I'm at the time of this review, like I say, is the latest version. And this is the movie mode here, I somehow skipped. Here you can select AVCHD or MP4. You can select your quality here. So you got on, at least in the PAL region, you have 50i at 24m, 50i at 17, 50p at 28, 25p at 24, 25p at 17. So for just general recording, you're probably best having it at 50p at 28m. But if you're recording something like a short film, you're probably better off having it 24 or 25p, depending on what options you have. You get a bit more of a cinematic look. Okay. You also have audio recording, so you don't have to record audio. You can tell it not to record audio at all. You can also turn on wind noise reduction as well. Okay, so that's the basic setup options. Now if we click whoops. If we click function, you bring up the function menu where you can select things like the drive mode, which is like single shot or burst mode. Your self timers are there, and your remote releasing options are there as well. You also have flash mode here, where you can select things like flash on, off or auto. Depending upon what mode you're in, some of these will be grayed out, some of them won't. You have things like autofocus area, face detection, your ISO, so you can select things like your ISO, or you can even have it on if you want auto. Your metering mode, such as center weighted. You can also have your flash compensation, your white balance, at the moment it's on auto, your auto HDR, and some creative styles, such as standard, vivid, portrait, landscape, sunset, black and white. In certain modes you can also select picture effects, but you can't, I don't believe, in RAW. So that's how you almost get to all your settings to change, such as ISO, aperture, autofocus, metering mode, from this FN functions button. You also have here your dedicated movie record button, your AEL button, which can be changed to do different things in the options, and your zoom button here. I don't think I've missed anything out. It's a great camera, it takes great pictures and has lots of options, and it has a really good quality movie mode, except for the noise problem, so you definitely want to use an external mic. But the quality and the autofocus is great. Definitely recommend it for movies as long as you're willing to put in an external mic. Great pictures. I will include later a video test, little clip in this video to show you what the quality is like and the noise of the autofocus, which will have been filmed using the kit lens, that Sony 18 to 55mm kit lens, which you can get with this. The price in the UK at least is just under 500 if you get it at Curry's with the kit lens and a telephoto lens by Sigma. So not bad price, 500 with two lenses.
Any time for pictures, I don't want to be at home for ages.
And I actually just very quickly, my battery's running out on the camcorder, but here is the kit lens, which comes with a back shield to protect it and a lens cap with Sony brand on it, which also has your zooms in and out, uses autofocus or manual mode as well. You can toggle on here like you can on the camera, which you need to make sure you have them both set to the same thing so you don't damage your lens. I give this camera 4 out of 5. I only give it as low as that because of the noise of the focus when you're filming videos, and because you can't select 24 or 25 or 50 or 60. You have to be in a certain region and it'll change. It'd be nice if you could select 24p even if you're in a sort of PAL region which had 25p. So apart from that, it's a really excellent camera and I highly recommend it. Definitely very fast. So thanks for watching. Please rate, comment and subscribe.